let's talk about some West Coast basketball before we start to get out of here. I want to know this: Arizona or Gonzaga? Who you got? T.O., I'm going to do first on this one.
Oh, that's so tough. That's
Oh my
so tough.
God.
They're 1 and 2 in Kim Palm too. Like,
Oh.
goodness me.
I'm so glad
Goodness
he asked
me.
you. I am so glad he asked you first on this one. I thought he said to us, hold on a second, podcast story. He said to us he was going to ask us UCLA or USC. Then he throws that 99 mile per hour up in your chin heater. Rob, that might be the hardest question you've ever asked us.
It was like a Randy Johnson slider. Just
Right.
like
And
what I wasn't expecting.
Putting you on the
Terrence,
spot.
I just gave you 12 seconds, Terrence, to help you.
Thank you. Point guard play, I'm going Gonzaga. And I've been hard on Gonzaga. Kirk Kriisa, you got to love him. You got to love him for what he is. I'm using this word in a very basketball context. He's very unstable. And because you need some stability at that point guard spot. Gonzaga has that with Nimbard, and they can do some other things with Drew Timme and all those guys. But if I had to pick between the two, I would go with Gonzaga because of point guard play only. And that's not even mentioning Chet Holmgren and all those guys. I do think Benedict Mathurin is terrific. He's been a little bit inconsistent. I think we can all agree on that. But at the same time, Gonzaga's point guard play, I think, would give them the edge if we were going between the two for best team on the West Coast.
I'm going to vote Gonzaga as well. And I think one of the guys that needs to get brought up from both ends of the floor is Julian Strother, who's averaged about 15 points per game over the last three and just continues to be a real X-factor guy for them that fits into who they are well. But beyond that, when you have the versatility and length that Gonzaga has between Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren, and Chet has just continually impressed throughout his freshman season. I think that when you combine the fact that I do believe Gonzaga would be able to defend Arizona and the idea that I think Gonzaga has more ways at the end of the day that they can score the basketball. And I think that you're in a situation where Andrew Nembhard is going to manage any situation in a matchup like that if they faced off head to head, I'm taking Andrew Nembhard, and I'm taking him as the best guard on the floor. And I look at what Gonzaga has, and look, you're right. Mathurin is a terrific talent. That doesn't faze Gonzaga at all. So I go Zags over Zona. And there's also a bit of, I've talked with a couple of coaches about this, and I don't know what you guys think of this. But one of the things that they've brought up is, I do have to see Arizona get to the Elite Eight, get to the Final Four. I think they very well could. In fact, I would have them going, probably. But by the same token, this is so new for this group of kids, for this head coach. They're heading into this tournament. I'm very curious to see what they look like, and how they do it. Look, Gonzaga hasn't won it all. But, man, Gonzaga keeps getting there, don't they?
Yeah.
They keep getting there. So I'm going Gonzaga.
Hey, if you look at Arizona's metrics, too, very similar to Purdue's offensively. Think about that. Everywhere except for the three ball. They don't shoot it as well. They're sub 33% from three. If that improves, holy moly, could they be dangerous. But other than that, I mean, they get to the line. They get the offensive rebound. They can protect the rim. Like Christian Coloco is a dude defensively around the rim. Arizona's really good. It's just point guard play has, in their losses, been their Achilles heel, and that worries me.
Yeah,
especially coming up against great teams.
I have two things to throw at you guys here. First and foremost, Gonzaga and Arizona are the only two teams in the country that are currently, at this moment, ranked in the top 10 of both offensive and defensive adjusted efficiency, according to KenPom, which should tell you everything you need to know about how good both of those teams are. And it should also alleviate any of the questions that people have about what they are defensively. But here's another stat that I think is pretty incredible. Gonzaga leads the nation in effective field goal percentage offensively and defensive effective field goal percentage. Do you know who is number 2 in the country in defensive effective field goal percentage?
No.
Arizona. They
Wow.
are the top two
Wow.
teams at forcing you to miss shots, more or less. That's essentially what it is. They are the two best teams in the country when it comes to making you miss. And I think that's relevant. I would probably lean with you guys and go with Gonzaga. At the end of the day, if you're going to make me bet on somebody, I'm going to bet on the team that has two All-Americans starting in the front court.
Yeah.
Like Chet's. I know it's been a bit against guys that aren't very good, but Chet's been pretty unbelievable over the course of the last month, and I don't think he's gotten talked about enough.